Jennifer Nelson here, host of the Pocket Hours podcast. Here at Pocket Hours, I get to interview fabulous individuals in our industry to help educate us all and to up our game. We get to hear from them, their secret sauce, how they are successful to hopefully help inspire us to do better work. The cool part is, as you listen to these interviews, you can also get clock hours on the go. So you listen to a podcast and then you email us at info@scoutrealestate.com to learn more about obtaining those hours. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and let's have some fun learning how to be better at what we do. I had the privilege this morning of interviewing Nina Zerbo, and I asked Nina to be on the show because the first time I met her, I loved her energy. And interestingly enough, that came up in the interview where she talks about how you show up in the world as yourself and how you read a room and how you take care of your people. I think you're going to really enjoy the nuggets that she has. She's fun, she's funny, she's smart and interesting. So here we go. Welcome, Nina. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet. So we're going to talk this morning, have you get to know Nina, get to know what brought her to this industry, sort of some of her secret sauce, if you will, sort of maybe a prediction or two from her crystal ball that we all have, as everyone knows. And we're going to have some fun. So let's get going. So I'm curious, what were you doing in your former life before real estate?
I worked for Microsoft and Apple and worked in the retail stores and then worked opening retail stores around the country and then worked in corporate in Redmond and then wore many different hats, which I think all of those hats came together in one big closet that led me to real estate and helped me transition easily into it.
Was some of your work like project management stuff?
I think when you look at the retail side, there's the greeting, the getting to know people in a very short period of time, really listening to what they say they want, what they really want, reading between the lines, trying to find a match for a product, understanding that this is a big expense, even though it's, computers and phones and stuff like that. And then there was the project management side and the operational side, which is very detail oriented and a lot of being organized and having checklists and getting through all of that on a certain timeline. So all of those, if you think about and read between the lines, are all the same things that you do in a real estate transaction.
I was going to say, it feels like prerequisites for real estate, right?
Yeah.
I find it so fascinating over the time. I think we've done like 60 episodes now, where people come from real estate and how pretty much all of the background is preparing you for the work we do now. That's awesome. So then what made you say, I want to do real estate?
Well, I had that moment where I was pregnant with my second child and it's like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because I was working in corporate offices and the further away I got from the customer and just was pounding on keyboards and IM messages and meetings, it was just, I wasn't talking to the end user anymore. I wasn't talking to the customer anymore. And that stir was happening. And then you go back to like, okay, well, what have I done so far? What else could I do? And I remember getting an email from an employee that had been fired for poor attendance. So he fired himself. I didn't fire him, but nevertheless, he was in the journey and he had started real estate. And I was like, oh, I never even thought about real estate. And then the wheels started turning and I was like, actually, I worked in a model home in high school selling model homes and I was terrible at it. And then, my dad owns a commercial roofing company. He's a general contractor. My, mom was a general contractor. My uncle built houses. So I was always on construction sites, but I was always in the environment, but never put the pieces together. So when I got that email from that old employee, it just kind of all the lights went off and it was like the universe taking this little message and like putting it in my face and being like, are you going to pick up on this clue right now or not?
How much more can we make it really like obvious to you? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And I called my real estate agents that sold me my house. I'm like, okay, give me the reels. Like, what do I need to know that isn't on the internet? Talk me out of this. Talk me out of this. Tell me this is a terrible idea.
They didn't do a good job.
They didn't do a good job.
Well, that's
I
great.
thank them every day for it.
No kidding. And how long ago was that?
It was 8 years.
8 years ago. Right on. That's so awesome. Yeah, right? You're still, but in real estate, we say after your first year, you're like, I don't know, the 10 years there immediately, because hopefully in your first year, you go through some things. Speaking of, look at that segue, right? Amazing. What was your first year like? Like, talk me through that. Did you quit jobs and just jump in all the way?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. I had my second child at this point and had left corporate America and was all in on it. And I got my license, and then my real estate agents were my mentors. I was like, I want a mentor. I'm the type of person that I'm like, I can learn on my own, but I learn so much better when I have somebody in front of me that I can ask questions to in real time.
Me too.
So I talked them into mentoring me for a year. We created a whole mentor program and how much I pay them and what we actually go over. And that was a game changer to be able to pick up the phone and be like, oh my God, I met somebody at an open house. What do I do?
Now
right?
what?
Like, now what? I got a fish on the line.
Yeah.
And it was 3 months in, and I had my first buyer transaction. It was $1 million transaction. I was like, hey,
welcome.
Nice song starts. But it was open houses that I really cut my teeth on and went hard on because it felt very familiar having come from that retail side.
Background. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for people listening, that we have a bunch of different listeners, right? There's people that are thinking about real estate. There's people that are brand new, and then obviously the continuum. So tell me a little bit about what skill sets you use at open houses that make that successful for you.
I don't talk about real estate.
Ooh, I want you to say that again. What was that?
I don't talk about real estate.
Okay, say more.
I know what they're there for.
Yeah.
They're looking for a house.
Right.
And every real estate broker that's holding an open house is hoping to either sell the house because it's their listing or meet new buyers. Let's be real. Like, we're not there just to have fun on a Saturday and Sunday because we have nothing better to do.
Sure.
There's a goal. There's a mission.
Yep.
And I find that the easiest way to connect with people, because they're coming in with their guards up. They're expecting,
Absolutely.
They know there's a broker around the corner somewhere when they open the
Ready
front
to
door.
pounce.
So they're waiting for them to pounce. And I stand back. I give them plenty of space to come into my space. And then I look for ways to connect with them because you got about 30 to 60 seconds before they're like, I'm going to make a corner and start looking at this house and I'm going to avoid you as much as I can. And it's a genuine thing. It's like a truly, like, if you walk in and you've got great boots on, I'm going to talk about those boots because I'm into boots, right? Or whatever it is, but I just don't immediately launch into the house.
Mm-hmm.
When they're leaving, I might be like, hey, what kind of feedback do you have? It's not my house. You can't hurt my feelings. So give me the reels, right?
Yeah.
But I think when you connect with people on a human level and it allows them to bring their guard down, because people love to, one, hear their name, and two, they love to talk about themselves. So when you can give them the space and give them a microphone, heyo, to talk about themselves, they warm, they soften, they open up and are able to connect with you versus just having that.
Yeah, the guard. Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. I mean, I teach classes here at Scout all the time, and we talk about open houses, and people do walk through the door sort of hoping they're not going to be sold anything. And when you can take that away, diffuse that, right? I tell a story. I was dating this woman named Susie at the time. She was 6'1", beauty, right? And I remember I asked her, I begged her to please come to the open house. I hadn't seen her in a while, and I was like, it's the only time we can spend time together. So she begrudgingly came, and she had no skin in the game, right? She doesn't care. She's not a realtor, but she's super fun and interesting. And this guy came in and he was doing that thing where he was kind of holding himself back. And he said, it was raining outside, and he said, excuse me, do I need to remove these boots? And she said, well, normally no, but they're so ugly. Yeah, you really do need to take them off. And I thought, are you kidding me right now? Like, I almost fell over it, but he laughed so hard and it immediately took away everything, right? And I said, you have to come to all my open houses because that was brilliant. Yeah. So it's true that people need you to just be human, be yourself, be authentic, and don't launch into, I'm desperate for business. Can I help you buy or sell a house? Right. I love it.
The other thing I do too is I started bringing a small speaker and I play like Etta James jazz.
Yes.
Because it creates a vibe for the house. And then they can feel like they can talk in the other room and not whisper like they're being eavesdropped on. It's
we
like
have a noisemaker.
Like a white noise machine. And, like even opening doors and windows or light a candle only if it's your own listing. Somebody else's listing, don't light a candle.
Yeah, right.
Don't want to burn it down, but
it's your own listing though. It's fine. You can burn it down then. That's great. Yeah. So essentially I'm hearing you say, make it a welcoming environment. I mean, if you're a person that hosts anyway, treat it like you're hosting a party and make it that kind of atmosphere instead of I'm at work and I'm trying to get business. And talk about conversion. Is that a high conversion for you? Are open houses still a big piece of your business?
It's waned a little bit through COVID because it got so busy that it was hard to manage doing your own open houses. So there was a period of time where I wasn't doing open houses and then coming back to it because I genuinely enjoy them.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've got a little bit more time to do them.
Mm-hmm.
And conversion, it's changed a little bit with the buyer brokerage agreement.
Yep. That's
that
true.
was required. I've always used them, so that wasn't a
Me
big
too.
change for me.
Uh-huh.
However, for the industry, it was a change. So there was a difference of the buyers that were coming through that maybe signed a temporary buyer brokerage agreement with a different agent and they were already working with somebody. And then there were the people that didn't even know what it was.
Right. Right. So
And
true.
those were, so there was still some opportunity for conversion, but I felt like conversion was a little bit
It did change.
harder
Yeah.
for
That's
a
true.
period of time.
Yeah. And for the listeners on the call who I just want to reference what she's talking about so that they're not in the dark a little bit. But back in the day, not that long ago, you didn't have to have a buyer broker agreement. Both Nina and I have practiced this for years so that when they made it a law, it was sort of like, well, right, this is pretty normal. Can't believe you guys caught up. Good job. But back in the day, it was the Wild West. I mean, you could find an agent and say, show me 18 houses and decide to buy with your Uncle Sam. And there was no protection for either party. And it was gross and not helpful. So when they made it a law, we used to be able to pick up buyers, if you want to call it that. Sounds like we're at a club or something, but pick up buyers at an open because nobody really had a signed broker agreement. But now, hopefully they do because it's law. And one of the questions that Ninja asks, which is the philosophy we follow here at Scout, is that the broker you're going to buy a house with? So like the question is, do you have a broker already? And they might say yes. And then the follow-up question might be, is that the broker you plan on using to buy a house? And that's a great one because sometimes they say, well, actually, we're not that happy with them. Or actually, it is my Uncle Sam and we feel a family obligation, but we really don't want to use him. So being able to guide them through who to pick for the best result, which is good. Tell me a little bit else about your beginning. So how long did it take you to feel like, I could do this? This could actually provide for my family and all of that.
I think it's about a year. I always tell people, I'm like, in any job, give yourself 6 months to figure out your elbow from your foot. Like you don't know what you're doing. You're just trying to keep your head above water. But it took a good year, I would say, of balancing and also working on commission. I'd never worked on commission before. I had the golden handcuffs of I had a regular paycheck, I
Yeah.
had benefits, I had
401k.
401k.
Yeah.
It was great. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I don't have any of that. And I don't know when I'm getting paid again. So it takes a little bit of a mindset adjustment and really practicing living in abundance and not scarcity. And even now, 8 years in, I have to constantly have those moments and little pep talks of like, hey, it's okay. It always works out no matter what's happening in the market. But yeah, I think you got to give yourself a minute
Yeah.
to figure things out. And
yeah.
it's always changing. And just when you figure it out, it changes on you, which is what I love about real estate.
Right. It's like built for ADHD people. I
Oh,
feel like
100%. Yes.
which a lot of realtors are. It's interesting that you said that. I know a broker, I'll leave him nameless right now, but he's been in over 30 years. And he said to me one time, every January, I wonder if I'm going to sell another house that year. And 30 years in, you're like, how could you not? This is a guy who does 60 deals a year, right? So I'm like, pretty sure I can answer that for you. He said, I know, but in my being, I question, I wonder, am I going to make it this year? So for some reason, we're drawn to this industry. We don't know why. We live on the edge. I don't know. Somehow it feeds us. But the idea that we have to sort of make ourselves new all the time to appeal to and attract the people we want to work with is kind of cool.
Yeah, there's magic to it.
Mm-hmm,
I think
for
there's
sure.
magic
Yeah.
of like, it's like cooking. You can, or we'll say baking, because baking is so precise. And if you change the temperature by a couple of degrees or you add a quarter teaspoon extra of this, it changes everything, which is really cool when you think about it in the terms of real estate, because you can try making calls every week, or you can try sending birthday cards, or you can send newsletters or emails, all those different things. And then you watch the levers to see how people respond to it. And I don't like to do things just for the sake of doing it. Like I want it to be something I'm excited about giving you or something receiving. I'm an experience person. Everything's got to be an experience for me because I want it to be memorable. And that could be fun, especially in that first year of trying to figure out what you want to do and
What's
how
working.
you want to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar at all with the Enneagram?
I am.
Okay.
Yes,
I think you're a 7 on the Enneagram. I'm just going to say that for the podcast. You can look it up later and tell me if I'm right.
Okay.
Because the Enneagram 7 is all about experience.
I'm questioning. I was like, wait, was I a 1?
Okay.
Which is the exact opposite?
You just said experience, so we'll see.
Yes.
Ooh, you'll have to get back to me and let me know.
Yeah,
This will be exciting.
Follow up.
Okay, so beyond open houses, how do you think you built where you are today? I would imagine that you are 8 years in, still sometimes worried about whether you're going to make it, like we all are, but you're providing and you're having enough income and a life that you enjoy. So what did you do at the beginning that got you into some good things, some good habits?
My business comes from referrals. Like, I don't buy leads anywhere, which can be a great model for some people. It didn't resonate with me. I don't do cold calls. Open houses are as cold as it can get of meeting strangers, which is a great opportunity to build the pipeline. And like, there's times where I'm like, oh, pipeline's a little dry. Let's fill it up and do some open houses. But really, it's about taking care of the people in my sphere. And so I do Ninja as well. And I have a Ninja coach right now. And one of the things she had me do was get 4 different pieces of paper. So you have your A's, your B's, your C's, and your D's, right? And I printed out all of my database on mailing labels. And then I took them off and put, on my A's, my B's. And those are the people that I feel like I could not talk to for months and pick up right where I left off.
Okay.
Those are my A's. I'm going to love on them. I'm going to hug them. I'm going to see them and I'm going to give them the biggest embrace. And it's going to feel so good.
Yeah.
Those are the people that know me, like me, love me, and are going to refer me.
Yeah.
And those are the people I want to take care of. And those are the people that I want them to know I genuinely really appreciate that when they're at work and they hear somebody being like, I think I'm about buying, I don't know, a crazy idea. They're like, oh, I have the best person for you. You've got to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you got somebody already, talk to Nina.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that I kind of stay in flow with. And they're also my homies. So it works out great.
Yeah, easy. It's easy.
It's easy. Yeah.
So you stay in flow, just kind of thinking about other practices that you do that keep your business flowing. So your referral-based business, you take care of your homies.
Mm-hmm.
You are working in sort of separating out where to put your attention. You're doing open houses. Is there anything else you can think of that on a system level you would say this contributes to my success?
Showing up in person. I had a manager once many, many years ago that I thought was an absolute asshole, excuse me, but he was genius in all the ways I didn't want to be a leader. And there was one thing he did say that has always stuck with me. He said, if you're not present, you're not relevant. What I'm taking from that now in the real estate is when you get invited to things, go. Show up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get invited to somebody's kid's birthday party and you don't even know the kid, go have fun and don't talk about real estate. Again, don't talk about real estate. You're not there to it's not a dating scene like you're out hunting.
Yeah.
It's just people seeing your face and getting to know you and remembering that you're out there. And I think just take real estate out of it. That's something that I also value. Like my girlfriend now, she's like, you have so many friends. You know so many people. And I'm like, I know, I love it. I love staying in flow with people. My 8-year-old daughter, we ran into somebody. I was like, oh, do you remember them? We went there to the house. She's like, Mom, you know so many people. How am I going to remember this person?
How can we keep up with all the names? Yeah.
I cringe a little bit. I'm like, you're not wrong. So I think it's the showing up piece. It's so easy in the wintertime to Netflix and chill and get a glass of whiskey and sit by the fire and not go out.
Sounds delightful.
I'm not mad at that. And all the holiday parties that I'm getting invited to, then I'm like, I don't want to put anything on my calendar, but I know I'm going to go and I'm going to have fun and it's good to see those people.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't cost any money, right? I think that's the other piece is new brokers a lot of times are like, you have to have all this money to do these things. And it's well, just attending events can really fill you up and get your face out there.
There's such pressure in our industry to buy leads and you have to have this marketing and it needs to have glitziness. It has to be shiny and pretty and that's $2,000 a month and I've never done any of that shit. Literally not. And I feel like I have a pretty good career. And it's because I want to draw the people that don't necessarily love that stuff either. The people that love that stuff, maybe not my people, right? The people that are like, hey, we want a house and we like you and we trust you and you know a lot about houses and how to negotiate, I'm here for you. But the people that are like, you're not polished enough, I'm like, right here, let me refer you to several other polished agents that I don't necessarily respect because that's where they spend their money. So if you're listening to this and you want to build your career, build it on who you are. And if you're one of the glitzy people, go to town, make it glitzy. But if you're not, stick with that and don't try to be, the glitzy person.
And something you just said that I think has served me well is saying no to things, even when I'm feeling a little bit in the scarcity zone of I have no business turning any business away, but in your gut and your intuition, and that's something that gets really, really good is listening to your intuition, is I've said no to many referrals or clients of like, I don't think I'm the best fit for you, but let me find somebody who is.
Yeah.
And that might be coming off of several months of not having a
Ugh,
closing,
yeah.
but knowing that when you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. So when I say yes to this client that I know is going to be a total pain in the butt, they're going to be needy and it's not going to be worth it in the end. And quite frankly, I don't want their referrals because if their referrals are anything like them, that's not how I'm going to
There we
build
go.
my sphere. I'm okay saying no to that. And when I say no to that, it opens up space for so many other wonderful clients. And I can't tell you how many times this has happened. And I'm sure it's happened to you where you're like, I'm not the best fit for you. No, thank you. And then all of a sudden, within a week, somebody else shows up that's amazing and wonderful and fun. And they trust you and they're happy to work with you. And it's great.
Pocket Hours is brought to you by Scout Real Estate. Hi, I'm Jennifer Nelson, owner at Scout Real Estate. I started this firm with the vision of doing things differently, with our focus on legendary service for our clients and creating a community of producing agents to spur each other to do higher quality work. If you are interested in learning more about how a small group of like-minded brokers have come together to have some fun while doing a lot of business, reach out to me, 206-227-7966, or email jennifer@scoutrealestate.com. I promise you this, fun is a high priority for me, but so is winning. So if you appreciate those two things, you might be interested in Scout. Looking forward to hearing from you. I was just talking to a broker the other day that's considering coming to Scout. And she's like, I'm just really not happy at my current brokerage, but I feel like I should give them another year and just see if they can whatever. And we were right in the middle of the conversation. I was like, can I change it for just a second? Will you hang with me? And she's like, okay. And I said, let's pretend this is a dude because she dates dudes. Let's pretend this is a dude that you've been dating. And you've been dating this dude for 4 years, which is where she's been at her other brokerage. And you kind of know in your knowing, probably not a future here. Are you going to stay with him for another year? Like, don't be that accommodating woman in real estate, right? Don't be that accommodating woman or man, if you're listening to this, that keeps a client just to keep a client and hope it gets better. Well, I hope they're not an asshole next time I talk to them. I hope they don't demean their wife next time we go out looking at houses. Let it go. Because to your point, which I love, guess who they know? Other people just like that. So no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. What is it? Quick to fire, slow to hire, right? Quick to fire. Like you're out, you fired. Okay. So you're doing open houses. You're taking care of your people. You're saying no when you need to say no. You're even in the midst of some scarcity, scariness. You're saying, I believe the right people are going to come my way by just showing up. I love all this. This is really good. So switching gears for a minute, tell me about a crazy, funny, anything that pops into your head time that you've had. I mean, you've been doing this 8 years, so I know you've had several, but think of one that pops into your head. Like, I'll give you an example while you're thinking. The last person we interviewed said they like walked in on someone naked in a bed. There you go. That's where we're going with this conversation. So anything that pops in your head about a crazy experience.
I think we've all had this sleeper that we walk in on, or, the sign that says sleeping, do not enter. And I'm like, does that not feel weird to have like people walking through your house where you're just snoozing away,
Right.
dreaming of
You feel safe in
swimming
that,
with
yeah.
dolphins? Cool.
It's usually a dude because we'd all be like, no.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There's two quick things. One, I don't know if it's funny and my daughter will hate me for it, but we were out touring and she was little and she was just finishing the potty training thing and had a massive blowout in house. And a lot of times there's no toilet paper because they don't want people to use them. So, she takes herself to the bathroom while I'm looking at the house and she's in there and I'm like calling for her. And anyway, she's in the bathroom, just pants down, all the stuff. It was just a gruesome scene. Bless her heart. And I'm like, there's no toilet paper here.
No.
So also 101 in your little go bag in the trunk of your car, have a roll of toilet paper in there.
And a couple outfits.
And a couple outfits. Yes, especially if you have kids. But I think, this is also just one of the days of during, I think it was like 2022. I was working with a business partner and we had, this is like a movie where it's like a new business and the phones are ringing off the hook and there's like 6 phones and they're like, please hold, please hold, please hold, all of that. We had 3 clients that wrote offers on the same day, and
Oh,
all
Lord.
3 had offer review dates
Whoa.
on the same day within like a couple hours of each
Jeez.
other.
Holy cow.
And the value that we brought together when we worked together is we did everything together. Like you got both of us for everything. Was it the most time efficient? Absolutely not. But we had fun doing it and our clients loved it because they got both perspectives.
2 for 1, yeah.
Exactly. But it felt like whack-a-mole that day because we were negotiating 3 contracts for 3 different buyers, which means there's 2 buyers in all of these scenarios. And we got all 3 under contract. I mean, not a funny thing, but it was the day of just like sitting outside on my porch. Don't talk to me. The kids kept coming out. I'm like, no. I cannot lose. My ADHD is going to train wreck if I am talk about being in flow. And it was such a cool day to get 3 buyers under contract on the same day.
Congrats.
And a multiple offer. And this was when, everything had 10 to 15 offers per house.
Hope you celebrated that night.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And went to sleep early. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Yeah. So new moms that are out there or dads that have young ones, keep some toilet paper in your car. I love it. That's good. That's really good. So there's some people that, as you referenced it, are in teams. And so I've been pretty vocal about my opinion on teams on this podcast as a great place to start if you feel like you need to. But I think a lot of people sell themselves short by feeling like they need to stay in that team and give away way too much money to their team leader who is living large in Mexico while you're working your ass off. So were you ever on our team, and what do you think about teams?
I worked with one other person and we did everything 50-50.
Okay.
So it was very equitable. And there was a lot of care for each other. Like we genuinely cared about each other's personal lives. And I had kids and, they would help me with that. And it worked out well. I think when it comes to bigger teams and being a new agent, because the scaries happen of, I have to build my own pipeline. I have nobody feeding me leads. It feels like it's going to be easier to ride on the coattails of somebody else, but it does come at a cost. And while you're working on their business, you're not working on your own to the degree had you just been only focusing on yourself. So I don't necessarily think that teams for newer agents is a good strategy personally, because you do lose a little bit of your own identity and building your own brand and your own focus. And I did help one agent in my first year, I think it was, who was a top performing agent in the office. He was just crushing it, right? Just so busy. And I was like, I can help. I'm not that busy. So I started helping more and more and doing little marketing, right? Drafting emails, doing the open houses. And I did have that moment of like, I'm not doing anything for myself. Like I'm not working on my own business at all. Granted, yes, I'm going to open houses and I'm meeting buyers and converting them, but I'm still not working on my own business. And I did have that realization early on and did push back, or not push back, but like pull back a little bit
get out of that.
And got out of it. And, he found somebody else to replace me and it worked out great. But I did have that moment of like, I don't want to work for somebody else. I just worked in corporate America my entire career. I didn't do this.
Do that? Yeah.
Exactly. But if you are, I don't know very many part-time agents. I don't recommend part-time agents either, because this is something you have to be all in on. If you don't have the little nest egg to get you going in this, this is one of the things when I called my brokers and was like, talk me out of this. They're like, you have to have a little bit of money to get you going because you're not making anything for the first year.
Right.
You're spending a lot, but you're not making anything. So the teams are tricky. And maybe if you're at the end of your career and you're like, I just want somebody to tee everything up for me and I want to be in it because it's fun, but not because my survival's on it.
Right.
Maybe that could be a good.
Yeah, it feels like if you're on a team, you have a job still. You don't have a career yet. And I feel like people are like, well, I'm going to get started in a team. And then 3 years from now, I'm going to start, this. It truly is then 3 years from now, you're starting at square one. So you've worked in the industry 3 years, but no one knows your name because the name is the team leader, right? I'm repeating myself about teams. Anyone who listens to the podcast will be like, we got it, Jen. We understand you're not a big team person. It's because about half of the brokers at Scout came from teams. And in conversations of recruiting them, it was obvious that they were ready to fly. And they felt like, but we're scared. And I'm like, we can do it. Here we go. Let's do this together.
Why do you feel like you have to go to a team when you're first starting out? And why are you getting into this industry? Like, did you do your homework to know what the industry was and what the challenges were going to be to start up? Like, it's a long runway before you're really taking flight and cashing in the Benjis. So if you are going into it and not having that picture painted clearly for yourself and there's trepidation, that might be something to listen to of, because not everybody is a self-starter. Not everybody can do this on their own. So there are people that are just best to work with
There we go.
a team or under a manager. And
Thus, we have teams. There goes. We need those people too. Okay. So tell me, if I lined up 100 of your last clients
Mm.
and I interviewed them and said, why did you choose Nina? What do you think the resounding theme would be in their answer?
Because I care.
Oh, okay.
And I know that sounds so like, it's like saying I'm a people person. Um,
I love houses. That's why I do real estate.
I have a top referring client who I'd met through somebody, and they just love sending me business. Like, it's rewarding for them to connect somebody with me because they know I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to give them a good experience. And we were out to dinner, and I didn't even ask, but they had offered it. They're like, I love referring people to you because I can really, really see how much you love what you do and you care about the experience people have when they work with you. And I feel good giving my referrals to you. And I do. I do. I think there's the big milestones in life of getting married or graduating college, having kids. Buying a house is a big one. And the fact that you're going to choose me, like, my ego enjoys it a little bit, right? We all have that.
Of course.
Of just like, wow, you're going to let me be part of this journey. And even if you're an investor and you've bought 10 houses before, you've bought 10 houses before. So you know what a good broker is. And you're going to invite me to be on that journey with you. Like, what an honor. And I'm going to hold that like a precious egg and not do anything that is going to spoil that. Right. And I think that is what you would hear if you lined 100
I
people
love
up.
that. That's so cool. That's really cool. Shannon is the CEO and owner of Audiotocracy, who is the producer of this podcast. And she and I used to be in a BNI group, Business Networking International. And one of the things we learned was that people refer to make themselves look good at the end of the day. And so in order for that to go well, right? Because if that's the motivation deep down, even though they're like, I'm a connector and I just love, at the end of the day, they want to feel good. They want to look good. And so if they're handing that off, which is a little part of their ego, right? Putting it out there for everyone to sort of say, is this going to go well? And you do amazing, then look how great they look. And so if we can reward that behavior to say, we are going to do you right every time because we want you to look good, but also because genuinely we love what we do. So those things pair well together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. Okay, we're going to turn to your crystal ball because I'm really glad you brought it in today because all of us have it, which is amazing, right? Yeah, we're holding it, we're petting it. We are asked crystal ball questions all the time in this industry. And I think more than anything, people aren't saying, we know you can know the future. They are saying, give us some education around what to expect. And so just overarching, what would you say 2026 is going to be like?
I have no clue.
I love it. The honesty. Perfect.
I have no idea. Just when I think I'm like, I'm going to have a stellar year this year, it's going to be awesome. I'm like, wow, where is everybody? And looking at what's coming up and where we're coming out of, a lot of what I'm hearing is people clutching their pearls and holding their breath, not sure what to expect. And at first, the narrative keeps shifting as to why things are a little slower. And now, granted, I call agents all the time, just like I call my past clients. I'm like, what's it going for you? And some people are like, I'm having the busiest year ever.
Yeah.
And then there's agents that have been in the business for 25 years and they're like, I have to do marketing now. I haven't done marketing in years. It's just flowed. Yeah. They're like, I have no idea what to do. And there is we're waiting for interest rates, the whole interest rate conversation. I'm like, I am so tired of talking about interest rates. They're not moving. This is what it is. You're not going to see COVID interest rates ever again. And God help us if we have another pandemic.
No kidding.
But that's what it's going to take. And we're not doing that again. So you're going to be looking at this interest rate for a while. So let's take that one off the table as an excuse not to be getting in the market. And then I don't know what's happening in the White House. That makes me scared.
Yeah.
That's fair. I feel that. However, we still got a few more years of this, of uncertainty.
Absolutely.
And then you have to look at like, okay, as an investor, and we're all investors, whether you're buying your first house or your 10th house, we're all investing in real estate because we want to make money on it. But when do true investors, like when does Warren Buffett buy a house? He buys it when the market's down. He buys it when nobody else is buying, when there's tons of inventory. And then you strategically figure out how to make money for you. So maybe your interest rate isn't what you want it to be, but you buy the house while the prices are great and everybody else is distracted, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at that as a buyer, for example, like now's the time to do it. So don't worry about the White House. Like how much is that really impacting your ability to buy? Unless it's job security, I hear you on that. Interest rates, we're not talking about that anymore. That's not a good excuse.
So done
So
with
if
that
you
one.
really want a good investment, like do it when everybody's distracted and not paying attention.
Totally. Yeah. If you're looking for that, I'm going to buy this house and then in 2 years I'm going to make, 15% return. That's not real. Like that's artificial. And so if you're saying I'm going to buy a house in Seattle and I'm going to get 5 to 7% appreciation a year, yes. And so then why not buy? Why not buy if we know it's going up? Even if it's only 5% a year, you're giving away your money to rent. So I try to just say, why is this investment any different than your stock market stuff? Why would you think all of a sudden real estate is going to be this like lotto instead of just saying, no, it's probably going to be steady growth, just like anything else. We're
Mm-hmm.
slow and steady. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of psychology there. And I think the best thing a real estate broker can do when they're ready to retire is be a therapist.
No kidding.
Because that's all we do
My
is
gosh.
we do therapy and try to understand. And then we need
We
it
need
as
it,
well.
a lot
We
of it.
need somebody to therapize ourselves. But yeah, like understanding, like really truly understanding, like what is it? If it's not interest rates, it's not political uncertainty. I mean, those are valid, sure. But really, what is holding you back? Like, really, truly, why are you getting in your own way if you know that this is a goal? Like, you do want to do this thing. Do you need somebody to just say, shit or get off the pot? Like, go do the thing? I mean, that's what my dad did. I was renting forever. And he's like, you got your first kid. Like, what are you doing? You need to buy a house. I'm like, I don't know anything about buying houses. Like, I don't have money to do that. He's like, yeah, you do. Right? Like,
Yeah.
you're doing better than you think you can. And here, I have a house and
Look at
I
you.
love it. And I've got double the equity because I've been sitting on it for 11 years.
Yeah,
Right?
I love that.
You just got to start. We get in our own way and we create unnecessary roadblocks. I've done a ton of ego work over the past couple years and understanding how the ego is this internal narrative that gets in our own way. It loves drama. It loves to create like mystery and smoke. And that when you recognize that's what's happening, it's like, thank you. I'm going to set you down. I hear you, but you're not helping me right now. So what is my goal?
What's that book? I know I can't think of the author. I think it's called Ego's the Enemy. Tom Hardy, maybe. So good, short read, but just talking a lot about that same topic of saying we have to acknowledge it, but then we have to say if we're coming from that place, it's our enemy. It's
Right.
truly our enemy, right?
Yeah. And it does get in our way. As new brokers, as seasoned brokers, we all have that little, that you might see it as the little devil on your shoulder.
Yeah.
But it's your own ego that gets in the way and makes you doubt things or question things. And just being able to acknowledge it and recognize what's happening. It's like, being in a bad relationship. You're like, oh, I see what's happening now.
I can see this clearly.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a ninja saying that says, if you're afraid, you're thinking about yourself. And so, especially in real estate, if we're afraid, we're, what about me? What about me? Instead of serving the client, and the business will come, right?
Here.
I want to go back to one other thing you said. I have a master's in counseling and I find it interesting that I wondered what I would do with it. Well, guess what? I'm using it all the time. But I think a lot of this business is, we're not in a sales business. We're in a service industry and it's about people. And I mean that really specifically, the nuance of learning how to ask good questions, how to see, right? Like, oh, I can see this relationship and how I need to be in this showing right now to help serve them. And so do you feel like that's a skill that you have and that you use and why people are attracted to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I'm a feeler. I feel like I'm really intuitive and have been working on trusting my intuition and being able to read a room. Like I'm very, very energetic. That I can say for sure. So when I sit down with clients, I can immediately feel their energy. Maybe one person is like leaning in and really stoked to be there and the other person's a little more closed off. I can feel that and be sensitive to it. I have sellers that I'm going to be working with that are going through a divorce. They've been together for 16 years and they're going through a divorce, and recognizing that every time I step into the home, I'm stepping into a tender, tender space that needs a lot of like hand holding and empathy and just care. But also I'm going to still do me and I'm going to bring some humor into this situation. I'm still going to make you guys laugh and, make it fun. I did a 55 and up seniors designation.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, there's going to be
Those are seniors? Come on, keep going.
No,
Yeah.
I did not define this. This is not my definition of a senior.
I'm getting close to that number and that scares me. But
You're
go
looking
ahead.
great. You're looking great. You're doing good. But I was like, there's going to be so many boomers. Like, I'm going to get ahead of this boomer train. And I, halfway through the first day, I turned to my agent. He went with me. And I was like, I think I'm going to stick to first-time home buyers. Because listening to the Rick Franz, great agent over on the East Side, he was teaching the class. And his stories, I was like, oh my yeah, this is like a whole nother level of
subculture
working with clients on a different level that really, really requires a lot of patience, empathy, and understanding that I'm capable of doing and could do and will do. But I don't think that that's going to be the thing that I focus on.
Good to say no.
Yeah.
Good to figure that out.
Yeah.
A quick story just about nuances, and then we'll close it off here in a minute. I think our business and practicing how to talk to people, how to listen to people, how to read the room, right? So quick story, I tell it in one of my classes. I'm being mentored by an agent who brought me onto a deal very early on in my career. And it's a Vashon house. So we take the ferry over. I'll keep her name out. I'll call her Jane. How about that? Jane said to me, we have to talk to them about this inspection response. And I'm worried they're not going to like it because the buyer's asking for a water heater, whatever. So just watch and learn, basically was what she said. And the beauty was I did watch and learn what not to do, right? So we get over there and we sit down at their table and she starts talking. She sets the paper down, right? The inspection response on the table, and there's a pen on top of it. And she was like, so on this paper right here, they're asking for a water heater and this and that and the other. I don't know if it's reasonable and da, da, da. And she's just going, spinning around, trying to like defend them, but also we might need to do this, whatever. In the meantime, I'm watching as he picks up the pen and signs it. She's still talking. And I want to be like, dude, he signed it, right? Like, pay attention. So it's interesting getting in your own way, being in your head, trying to anticipate what we think they might do instead of showing up and saying, here's what they asked for. What do you think? And let them go, yeah, seems reasonable, and sign it. How much could we avoid all of that emotional whatever and also just be a better person agent to that person? Because he probably felt like, I'm getting a song and a dance when I didn't really ask for one. Please stop. I've just signed it, right? Yeah. So paying attention. So whatever work you can do, listeners, to say, show up authentically, ask good questions, and don't overthink it. Just be yourself, be normal. Buyers that are buying a house right now found water during the appraisal. And you hear it and you're like, oh man, here we go. But we're going to go find out that it was a paper towel's worth of water. Okay. Well, that's very different, right? That makes it doable.
And giving them the certainty that you got it. Like, I got you. I got a Rolodex.
We know
of all the right people.
Paper towels.
I got this. You're not alone. I got you. Yeah. We're in lockstep on this. Like,
we'll take care of you.
Easy. We got this. Because when you get all wound up, they get wound up. They're like, it's like little kids looking to their parents.
Right.
Like,
there's the energy piece again.
Yeah, the energy.
Are we okay here?
Are we okay? Exactly.
Yes, we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
So before we finish up, first of all, thank you again. This has been super fun.
So
See, I mean, we just had a great conversation. I love it.
I love Shock and Shop.
Is there anything else? Again, think about the listeners, thinking about real estate, brand new in real estate, worried they're not going to make it. I've been doing this a long time. Teach me something new. That, there's our continuum. Any other pearls of wisdom before we finish up?
There's so much noise in the world and so many shiny things and so many different ways of doing it, and that we get caught up on the process before we ever just do it. Just start doing things. Like, I know that sounds so simple and elementary, but like, get out of your own way and don't complicate things. Mm-hmm. Like, don't, if you need headshots, just take a picture. Like, don't worry about spending $800 for professional headshots. That will come later. Like, allow yourself to be new, allow yourself to make mistakes, be curious.
Yeah.
Ooh, ask more questions than you even like, to exhaustion. Like, exhaust the question asking.
Yes.
And it's like so silly, but it's like, have fun doing it. And don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Make the fun part the curiosity, right?
Yeah.
The business will come.
It sounds like bumper stickers, but when you really, really drill into it and think about what that means, so many people fail to launch because they get so caught up in like all the things they think they need to do.
So true.
It's like, I don't know.
Go do it.
Run out into the street and try it. See what happens.
Be Nike. Just do it.
Yeah.
I like it. Thank you so much. This has been really fun being on the show. And I'm going to ask you again in a couple years. So just be ready because you'll be back on the show.
Oh, I can't wait.
Thank you so much for listening in to Pocket Hours. I hope this has been interesting, fun, made you laugh, made you think, spurred you on to do and implement some new things in your business. I appreciate your time and hope this has been a good use of it, period. Now, go be the agent you would hire.